Hi guys, I'm so excited for today's video because Odens Eye has come out with yet another collection, and this is a collection with collabs as well. And I was so excited when I opened my box. I got these palettes quite a while ago and I opened them and I was like, I know all of these girls, and that makes me so happy. I'm so happy for them because I mean, I've been on this side, I've done a collab with Odens Eye. They're a great brand to work with, and I'm so happy that these girls have gotten a chance to work with them as well. So we're gonna be doing two looks with each of the palettes. So there are 3 palettes in the collection. I will show them all to you. All of the palettes also come with a little scarf like they have done in the past. I can't tell you for sure if these are going to come with the palettes when you buy them. I know in the last couple of rounds, the first people who bought the palettes would get the scarves that kind of belong with the palette, but I don't know if that's going to be the case this time as well. There's also a scarf here with all of them on it, and I think that is just so cute. And these scarves are really, really nice quality. Obviously, it's a little wrinkled right now because I haven't like ironed it or done anything with them because I've just taken them out of the packaging just to show you guys. But let's go ahead and talk about these palettes. So these are going to be launching on the 14th of February. I don't know all of the information yet because I've gotten this package quite early, so I don't know everything. But if I know anything more, I will leave it down below in my description box so that you know all of the information. But let's go ahead and show you the palettes. So we're going to start with this one. So this is a collab with Makeup Just for Fun. She is probably the one that I found the most recently. I haven't watched a lot of her videos, but like I've known of her for a long time, and I think she seems like such a sweetheart. Our makeup aesthetics are definitely quite different, but when I opened this palette and I saw what it looked like, I felt like it's very much what I've seen from her, and I'm not surprised at all that this is the color story that she chose, and I think it's really beautiful. It's got some colorful shades, but they're more muted and kind of like earthy tones, and I think it's a really nice palette, and it's not something that I feel like I've seen from Odens Eye before. So I think that's really nice, and I'm excited to show you the looks that I've done with this palette. So let's move on to the next one. The next palette here is actually with Betty Jean, and I'm so excited. I will of course link all of these girls down below. Betty Jean was one of the people that I found before I even started my channel, and we talked a little bit before I started my channel. I feel like she's been a very big inspiration to me for a long time. I think she's absolutely amazing. I love the way that she does her makeup. She has a very kind of grungy but still fun and experimental style, and she's not scared of like trying new things and playing with different shapes and stuff like that. And I have so much respect for her. She works so hard and she deserves all the collabs that she's had, and I'm so excited about this palette because it's called the Planet Spirit palette, and here's what the palette looks like. It's a very, very colorful palette. When I opened this, I was honestly a little bit surprised. It's like not what I expected from her, especially from, you know, having seen her other collabs, and I feel like this is a little bit of a different side of her, and I'm excited to see what I can do with this. It's definitely very spring and summery, which I think is really cute, so I'm super excited to be playing more with all of these palettes. I have already used 2 of these when I'm filming this. I'm kind of like filming this all over the place. I'm just kind of trying to like piece it all together in the end, so probably bad planning on my part, but I've never been a good planner anyway. So the last palette here is with Lauren from Lauren Made Beauty, and I have met Lauren. I probably said that later in the video, but I think that she is amazing. She is such a sweetheart, and I again have so much respect for her as not just a person but a creator, and I'm so happy that she finally got a collab. I feel like she has been so deserving of a collab for such a long time, and it just hasn't happened for her yet, but this is finally the moment. And when I opened this palette and I saw this, I was like, that could not be more Lauren. Like, I feel like if I were to envision something that she would come out with, that's like a mixture of her style right now and what her style maybe used to be, and kind of combine those in together. I feel like this is a really good representation of who Lauren is as a makeup girly, and I just think this is so beautiful. I actually think that this might be my favorite color story out of the bunches, because I feel like this is kind of more what I'm jiving with these days as well. Like, you have 2 neutrals here, a cool tone and a warm tone, and then all of these beautiful shimmers and a dark blue. So I think this is really, really pretty, and I'm just super excited about all of these. So we're just going to go ahead and get into doing the looks with them. So I'm going to do one talk through look with each of the palettes, and then I'm going to show you a look with each of the palettes as well. So it's going to be a total of 6 looks. So we're just going to jump straight in. I'm going to actually start with the Flora Story palette that is with Makeup Just for Fun, and I'm using this as my highlighter today. It's absolutely stunning. This is a multi-chrome. I do have a little bit of hard pan in this. After having used it a couple of times now, I just want to mention that sometimes you can get hard pan in the shades from Odens Eye, but Usually it's fine if you use a bit of a rough brush and you kind of dig your brush in there. You'll still get product on the brush and it's not really that big of a deal, but if it is something that bothers you, sometimes Odens Eye shimmers can be a little bit hard pen prone. I just wanted to put that out there. But I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes, and I'm gonna use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base as per usual. I'm gonna try to do something different with this look that I haven't already done with this palette, but so far I've had a really good time with this, and I think that all of the shades have performed really well, just like I'm expecting from Odens Eye. Like, I love their formula, so I always have very high expectations when they do come out with the eyeshadows. Let me know if you guys picked up any of the singles that they launched last year, or was it earlier this year? Anyway, like either in the beginning of the year or last year, let me know if you picked any of them up and how you feel about them, because I've had a lot of fun with those. I think they are so beautiful. I'm gonna work with the greens mostly for this look because I've already kind of worked with the purples. So I'm gonna start with this shade in my crease is my transition shade, and I'm gonna use this one to deepen it up with. If you want to know more about the inspiration behind these palettes, I would highly recommend you just go watch people's reveal videos. I will link those down below as well if you want to go check them out, because when I'm filming this, I haven't seen anything really about them, so I don't know anything more than what you do, or well, you probably know more than me because I don't know anything. But if you really want to know about like the backstories and everybody's inspiration and the shade names and all of that, just go watch their videos, because I can't really tell you. That is a beautiful color. I really wasn't expecting this to be so bright, I guess. Like, I don't know, I thought it would be a little bit more muted, but it's a really pretty like sage green color. I really like that. This is blending out so nicely as well. I am going to take this underneath my eye. Am I? Maybe not. Let me just deepen it up with the darker green first and just kind of see where I want to go with this look. This is also a really pretty color. It's maybe not as dark as I would have liked, but again, I'm not the one who made this palette, and I respect that it's not as dark as I would like, because that was probably not her vision anyway. I'm gonna take this shade underneath my eye and just kind of connect it in the outer corner and just wing it out ever so slightly. I don't want it to be too intense, but I do want to just create a little more shape in the outer corner of my eye. That is very pretty. I'm gonna take a bit of the purple down here as well, because I haven't really used that shade yet and I just want to try it. I'm gonna put a little bit of that on the front portion of my lower lash line, and then probably layer that multichrome over the top of this, so it's not gonna look super purple, but I just want to kind of see what this color looks like on the eye. I don't feel like it's showing up that well underneath my eye, so it might be the kind of color that just benefits from having a bit of an eyeshadow primer as well, and it's also maybe the same kind of depth as my skin tone, so that's also probably why it's not showing up that much. I'm just going to put on a small layer of my NYX glitter primer, and I've done that in all the looks that you're about to see because I just like how shimmers layer over the top of the glitter primer a little bit more. And I'm going to use two shimmers. I'm going to use probably this one and this one. Maybe I'll use all of these three. Let's do that because I think I've used this one. I'm gonna take this one first. This is the shade called Lush, and I'm mostly gonna focus that on the outer portion of my eye, kind of just blend it into that matte shade. This one is a little bit hard to work with. It's not that it's chunky, I just feel like it's a little tough to just pick up and disperse on the eyes. It does look really pretty though when you do get it on. And then for the middle of my lid, I'm gonna take this shade, which is a shade called Misty. This one picks up a lot easier and it's not as kind of sticky and dry as the other shade. This one is going on the eye beautifully. And then for the front portion, I'm gonna fill it in with the shade that I haven't used yet, and this is a shade called Best Buds. This one is more of a like a satiny metallic. It doesn't have a lot of texture to it. It seems very, very smooth. So I think this is gonna be good for the front portion of the lid here. I'm just gonna go ahead and basically fill in the blank space and just make sure that the blend between all three colors are looking nice. That created such a beautiful gradient. I just love green eyeshadow looks. I can't help it. So for the front portion of my lower lash line here, like I said, I'm going to take the multichrome, which is the shade called Dawn. And I'm just going to layer that basically over that purple shade that I put down. And we can see how that looks. I don't want a lot of this. I just want to have like a little bit of sparkle. And as you can see, that is really pretty. Like, I love the iridescent shades like this from Odens Eye. I think that they just really pop, and they to make a look that's maybe not so special, a little bit more special. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up, and I will show you the final first look. So the final look is done, and I did put on some lashes. These are the Dragoness lashes from Unicorn Cosmetics. I don't think these are available anymore. I will try to link them down below if I can find them. If not, they're probably just not available. And if you want to know what's on the rest of my face, I always go through everything in my makeup diary series. I feel like that's a lot easier to have it all kind of in one place. I show every single look that I do pretty much every time that I sit down to do my makeup. Sometimes I show you looks that I'm not filming. So if you want to see that, go check out that series. Because I feel like that's a good place to get like mini reviews on other things that I'm maybe testing out that I don't always talk about in my videos. But let me show you the other look that I've done with this palette as well. So for the first look I did, I wanted to mostly focus on the purples, but I also wanted to use some of the greens. So I started with the kind of neutrally shade actually in my crease because I wanted to see how that would layer with the purple, and I think they look really, really nice together. It's not really a color combination that I was expecting to do, but it sort of just happened. And the purple is so beautiful. Like, the purple layers really nicely. It blends so well into that neutral as well. And I really like the way that my crease ended up looking, and I did want to just spice it up a little bit, so I used one of the greens on my lid, pretty much all over my lid, and I also did some of the multichrome in my inner corner as well as my brow bone. I did finish off with some lashes, and that was pretty much the look. So I wanted to keep these looks sort of simple because I feel like that is her makeup aesthetic, and it's not like I'm trying to, you know, be them when I'm doing looks with these, but I want to kind of explore how would the people that are making these palettes do their own looks. And this is obviously before I'm seeing them do their own looks with these palettes. I'm just kind of like imagining what they would do and then trying to be like, if I were them, how would I do my makeup today with this palette? So I feel like this is the kind of look that she would possibly do. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I really like it, and I think the palette itself is really pretty. Again, it's not really something that I would have maybe bought myself because I feel like it is a little bit muted for what I normally go for, and the tones in it aren't really tones that I usually go for. I tend to go for more sort of either brights or more saturated neutrals personally, but I think these are really pretty, and I'm happy I have this palette in my collection and that I was able to kind of test it out and see what I could do with it, because I really liked both of the looks that I did, and I'm excited to show you the other looks as well. So we're just going to jump straight into the next palette that I'm going to be using. Now let's get into Betty Dean's palette, which is called the Planet Spirit, and you've already seen it. It is beautiful. It's very colorful. I'm excited to play more with this. I've done one look with this like 2 days ago. I've been sick for like 9 days or something like that, and I tried to film 2 days ago. I did not talk at all because I barely had any voice, and I felt like shit, and I finally feel good again, or like okay at least. So I'm excited to put on some makeup. I think what I want to do today is I want to do something sort of orangey pinky, maybe only use these shades, maybe use a little bit of this one as well, maybe the purple, I'm not sure. And then I want to do some rhinestones like on the outer corner of my eyes. I want this to be a very simple look, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade. No, I'm gonna start with the orange. I really want to use the orange because I don't remember if I used this. Honestly, I feel like I'm so out of touch with this video because it's taken me like, I don't even know how long to film this, like over 2 weeks for sure. Like, I started filming this a very, very long time ago because I got this collection early and I was like, oh, I'll have plenty of time to, you know, get this video done before the launch. It'll be fine. I should be able to get this video up before the launch still, but I really wanted to be able to post this one early when everybody else was posting it. But sometimes life gets in the way, and when you're sick, the last thing you want to do is put on makeup. So I'm happy to be back to feeling good enough again that makeup makes me excited, because it's definitely one of the things that I miss the most when I'm sick, is just, you know, feeling like I'm looking okay and not feeling like absolute garbage, because when you're sick, you don't really look your best. And I like feeling put together, and I just I have not been wanting to do my makeup, obviously, because you don't need to know what it's like to be sick. It sucks. And I feel like whatever this cold I just had was way worse than COVID when I had it last year. So I got hit pretty bad with something. I don't know what the hell it was, but don't get it because it is not fun. So I'm just gonna kind of do this in the front portion of my crease. I'm not doing anything fancy at all. I'm just kind of putting down this color and blending it out, and it's looking very nice and pigmented. I really like the tone of this orange. It's not like a neon, but it's still very, very bright, and I like that. Like, I think that looks really, really nice. Just with the same brush as my Rephr 14, I think I'm gonna use the shade. I'm trying to figure out what I used in my first look. I feel like I used these two. You haven't seen that look yet, but I'm gonna do, let's do the purple. Not 100% sure if I've used this, but if I have, I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't remember. Like, the last couple of weeks have just been a blur, so I'm doing the best I can. I'm just gonna kind of do this in the outer portion of my crease and my lid, and I'm gonna wing this out a little bit. I don't care if it's a little messy just in the outer corner of my eye here, because like I said, I really want to do some rhinestones and stuff, so it's gonna get kind of covered up anyway. But this is a beautiful color, and I really like how these two play together. Like, that looks beautiful. Just gonna take the same shades underneath my eye as well. Just putting on some glitter primer on my lid before I do the shimmers. And the shimmers I want to use are going to be this one and this one. So I'm going to start with this one on the front portion of my lid. This one is called Majestic. It looks so beautiful. Can't wait to put this on. I think it's going to look so nice. Oh, that is so sparkly. Ooh, I really like that. That is beautiful. I'm just gonna do that, like I said, on the front portion of my lid, and then I'll use the deeper shade sort of on the outer half or so. Next, grabbing this shade, which is called Animalia. I promise I watched her video, but I do not remember how anything is pronounced because story of my life. I'm just gonna put that on the outer portion of my lid just to kind of merge these two shades in together and to blend it into the matte. That is also really, really pretty. Going back to the shade Majestic, and I'm gonna do a little bit of that just underneath my eye here as well. And just to finish off with the shadows, I'm going to use this shade, which is an iridescent sort of multichrome. It is absolutely beautiful. It's what I have as my highlighter today as well. I'm going to use that in my inner corner as well as on my brow bone. One thing I will say about this shadow is that I do have a little bit of hard pan in it already, and I haven't even swatched this palette yet, so just something to keep in mind. Just going to quickly do a little bit of liquid liner just on my top here. And then I'm going to take some of my rhinestones that I get from Amazon. I'll try to remember to list these down below. They're super cheap. They're meant for like nail art. I'm probably going to use like the pinks and oranges, maybe a little bit of the yellows. I'm just going to do a couple like just in the outer portion of my eye. I'm just going to use some lash glue to apply them with. So I think this is pretty cute. Are they even on both sides? Close, but not quite. But that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my look, and I will show you what it looks like with some lashes on. So this is the final look. I used the BK Beauty and Risa Does Makeup Vegas lashes for the first time, and I think these are so beautiful. It's not the perfect application. I think I could have pulled them in a little bit more, but they were quite long, so I wasn't sure exactly where to place them because it was my first time using them, but I think these are really, really pretty and they went on really easily. So I love this look. I think it is absolutely stunning. Let me show you the other look that I've done with this palette as well, since I was talking about it in the beginning of the video. So since I wasn't feeling too great that day, I decided to just go ahead and do one of my sort of big signature wings that I like to do because it's an easy way to do something impactful and fun and be able to use colors together that maybe wouldn't blend together that well. And that's why I decided to go with sort of the greens and the purples together, or greens and pinks, because that's a combination that color theory wise, it's hard to blend them together, especially two mattes. So I really wanted to use them together, but without over blending. And I think that it worked out really, really well. I love the look that came out of it, and it was very unexpected. And I feel like this palette for me has been a little bit unexpected because number one is not what I expected Betty Jean to come out with at all. And also number two, because when I first saw this color story, I was a little bit like, what do I do with this? Like, I felt like my wheels weren't turning the way that they always do when I see a colorful palette. I felt a little bit like, I don't know what to do with this. But now that I've played with it a little bit, I like the color story more, and I think that you can get a lot of really fun, like colorful and bright and summery and springy looks out of this, and I really like this look. I feel like with this palette, it's best used doing either more kind of graphic looks, but like simple looks. You don't want to overblend. You don't want to use too many of the colors together because then it can end up getting a little bit muddy. So just keep it simple with this palette, and I think you're going to get some beautiful looks out of it. I really love it. Of course, congrats to everybody in this collab. I'm sure I've said this already, but I'm having a blast with this, and I'm excited to do looks with Lauren's palette as well because I've already filmed one and I loved it. So we're going to go ahead and get into those looks right now. So last up we have Lauren's palette, and this is the Sea Talk palette. I'm so excited to be showing you looks with this because I feel like this is the palette, I said that in the beginning of the video too, I'm pretty sure. This is the palette that I feel like resonates the most with me and the way that I've been liking to do my makeup lately. I've been really enjoying like more neutral mattes along with colorful shimmers and stuff like that. And also I really like, I know this is so like beauty guru, I don't even know, 2019, just like neutrals with a pop of blue, but there's something about that color combination that just, I don't know, it makes me feel pretty. So that's what I want to do today. And I've done a look with this already, which I will show you after. And I realized that these two mattes are kind of the same depth. And before I thought that this would be more of a transition shade to this one, but honestly, they're kind of similar in depth. They're just different in tone, and that one is warm tone and one is cool tone. So I feel like using them together, I don't really need to do that. So I'm going to use this shade only as my transition shade, and then I'm going to use the blue in the outer portion of my lid and probably put some of these blues on my lid as well. So I'm going to start with this shade, which is the shade called Driftwood. I love the tone of this shade. Like, this is such a beautiful brown. Like, I definitely prefer warm tone browns from what I've kind of discovered on myself when I've been using browns, is that I just feel like they look better on me. I do appreciate a cool tone brown as well, but if I had to choose one, I would probably go with a warm tone. So I'm just going to use this in my transition shade, and as you can see, this is going on really nicely, and it's also blending out beautifully as well. I've never had any problems with Odens Eye mattes. I think that they were just so beautiful, so easy to work with, very buildable, very blendable, and they're just easy. I'm going to take the shade underneath my eye as well and just connect it to the outer portion here before we go in with the blue shade to deepen it up with. I don't really want to have the blue under my eye, so I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the brown. Okay, next for the most exciting part, we're going to use a shade called Night Swim, which is this very, very dark blue shade as our deepening shade. I am so excited to use this shade. I think it's just going to go really nicely with the colors in this palette as well. So I'm going to use that to really deepen up the outer corner. This isn't really going to be like a neutral look at all. I'm mostly just using that other shade as a transition shade. And then I'm going to use this as more of like the actual color that's probably going to show more when my look is done here. So I'm just kind of putting it in the outer corner of my eye. I'm going to take it a little bit through my crease, not all the way through. And I'm also not going to take it under my eye, as I said. I just want to keep this to my upper lid. And this is blending out so beautifully. Like, that is really, really pretty. And don't worry about it looking a little bit messy on my lid here. That's okay. I'm going to go in with the shimmers after and cover that up. I just want to make sure that like right in my crease here is where it's looking good and I have a good blend. So I think this is looking the way that I wanted to. It's looking quite even on both sides, which is good. Let's see, I'm going to use some of my glitter primer, which is probably, yep, right in front of me, buried under something else, as per usual. Just going to put that glitter primer all over my lid pretty much, because I do want all of this to be covered with eyeshadow, maybe even the outer corner, because I really want to try that dark blue shimmer. But I think I'm gonna start with a turquoise. I think what I wanna do is I wanna use these two and then maybe a little bit of this one like underneath my eye. I'm gonna start with the light shimmer, I think, which is a shade called Mermaid Scale. And I'm gonna put that on pretty much the whole front portion of my lid. This is such a pretty color. Ooh, I can really see the sparkles in that too. That is gorgeous. So just to connect everything, I think this is looking so good. I'm gonna take the dark blue shimmer, which is called Ocean Jewel, and I'm just gonna put that right in between here. These two colors are just like meant to be together. They look so good. And just because I want to try this shade as well, I'm going to take the shade called Sea Spray, which is this one. I'm not sure if it's going to be light enough for what it is that I want, but I feel like it's going to be sort of a more of a sheer shade. Yeah, I think that's going to work nicely. I'm just going to put a little bit of this just in the front portion of my lower lash line, and I think that's pretty much going to be it for the look. I'm going to go ahead and finish up. I'm just going to put on some lashes, do something in my waterline and all that jazz, and I'll come back and show you the second look that I've done with this palette as well, and just kind of give you my thoughts on this collection overall. So I went ahead and finished up, and I love this look. And also, can I just give a shout out to these lashes? I bought these at Sephora like last week because I was feeling sorry for myself because I was sick, and I went on Sephora and I did a little bit of shopping, and like, these are the easiest lashes I've ever put on. These are half lashes from Lily Lashes, and I've never tried any lashes from them before. These are called the Butterflies, like butterfly eyes, and I just think they're so gorgeous. Like, these are the perfect length for me to kind of look like my own lashes, but just giving me like that volume and like perfection where, you know, you wouldn't get that with a mascara. And I just think that they look so good. I'm so happy I picked these up. When I saw them, I was like, they look kind of small, but then again, I do have small eyes. So if you have small eyes too, you've been looking for kind of natural lashes. Like I said, these are half lashes. Absolutely beautiful. So pretty. I'm going to be wearing these so often. I love these. I've had such good luck with lashes lately, and it makes me so happy. So let me show you the other look that I've done with this palette. So I wanted the first look that I did to be sort of an homage to Lauren, I guess, because like I said, I've met Lauren. I think she's amazing. I know her makeup aesthetic very well. I watch all of her videos, and I was like, if I was Lauren, what would I do with this look? Like, what would be one of the first looks that I would do? And I was like, she would definitely do a neutral look with like a pop of neon green in the inner corner. So that is pretty much what I did. I used both of the neutral mattes in my crease, and I wanted to see how they work together, and I think they worked really nicely together. And then I just used the kind of bronzy shade on my lid, which isn't something that I would normally do. I'm not really a bronze eyeshadow kind of person, but honestly, I kind of like the way that the look turned out, even though it was quite neutral. I felt like it suited me very nicely, and that neon, or like the chartreuse, I feel like even though it's a satin shade, it's a satin shade that makes sense to me. Like, I feel like that kind of shade is the kind of shade I would want to use in my inner corner, and for an inner corner, you want something that's like really popping, and I feel like a matte in that formula can't really do that. And if it's a shimmer, it's almost a little too much. Like, it's not the look you're going for. Like, I totally get where she was going with this, is what I was trying to say, and I think that she did a fantastic job with this palette. I think that it is so fun, and I think that this is probably the palette that I will be reaching for again over the other two if I had to like choose one of them, but I think they're all beautiful. I think Betty Jean's palette as well, so summery, so fun. I feel like these colors are colors that I'm gonna want to wear again when it kind of warms up a little bit. We're back into like spring and summer. This is more what I'm going for. Like, I don't want like that grunginess and like the darkness. I usually tend to gravitate more towards stuff like this. At least that's what I did last summer. We'll see what happens this summer. And also the Flora Story palette that they did with Makeup Just for Fun, also so beautiful. I really like the grunginess of this. I feel like it's very her, and I feel like all of these palettes sort of just make sense to me, and I'm happy that they chose new people to collab with. I think that all of these are very worthy collaborators, and I love them all, and I had so much fun playing with these. I love that Odens Eye keeps doing collabs because it lets new people, you know, have a chance to do something that they probably wanted to do for years, ever since they started on social media, because this this is the top, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what everybody wants. Everybody would love to have a collab. Everybody wants to like come out with their own thing that they absolutely love, and I'm so happy for all of these people. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you plan on picking up. I should be able to have this up before the launch at least. Let me know which palette is your favorite. Do you watch all of these people? If not, I will of course have them all linked down below so you can go check them out, because you should be subscribed. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to see some more Odens Eye content, I do have a long playlist. I'll put that right there. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.